Hi, I'm Scott Orr, and I'm the host of the podcast Other Record Labels. And today I want to talk about establishing expectations, or establishing and managing artist expectations, or everyone's expectations, when you are starting a record label and you're beginning those first relationships with bands and new signings on your label. This is part of an ongoing series where I'm breaking down how to start a record label in 31 tips. And you can get all of these tips at otherrecordlabels.com checklist, otherrecordlabels.com/checklist, where I've put together a checklist document that you can go over this tip as well as all the previous ones and the ones in the future to help you in starting a record label. I think it's really important to outline expectations, because you might come together with an artist and you might feel like they have the same expectations as you, and they are actually thinking the same thing. They're thinking that you have the same expectations as them. And then what happens is, kind of like two lines that aren't parallel, they start to separate slowly and slowly. And before it ends up being too late, and there's this divide between you two, and that's how tension happens in a label. And so I think it's really important right from the get-go to establish what your expectations are, even though they might be obvious. And it's important to get these down on paper or in an email thread. And we did an episode with Asian Man Records where Mike Park talked about how he will say, listen, these are the things I just am not going to do because I'm not excited or passionate about it. And he'll send those in an email to the artist before they even sign the record deal. I think that's a really good thing. It might feel like it's not necessary, or it might be it might be giving up too much vulnerability at the beginning of a relationship, but I think it's really important. Here's some things you can do. First of all, outline the things you won't do as a label. These are things that are not normally in our label's responsibility. Normally, labels don't get too involved with the live aspect. They don't really get too involved in touring. That's more for managers or for promoters. They don't get too involved with, like, putting together a set list or helping an artist with their live show. There's a lot of things that aren't normally a label's responsibility, and there might be things that are normally a label's responsibility, but you're just not going to make that part of your label. So you need to outline those things right away, because I've had artists come into a relationship and thinking, okay, this guy's going to help me put together a big tour. Well, that's not really my area of expertise. It's not my area of passion, and a lot of labels aren't involved with that. But you need to set that out right away, because an artist could be assuming that's something you're going to do. You also want to highlight things that are against your mission statement. So this is still under the banner of things you won't do as a label, but things that we talked about this, back in episode 2 or 3, where creating a mission statement is, these are things that we're not going to do as our label. An artist might bring you an idea, and you're just going to say, this isn't part of the plan that I have set out at the beginning for my label. The second thing is to highlight things you can't do as a label. Things that you just aren't good at. Somebody might say, well, I hope that you're going to master my album. And it's like, well, I can't do that. I don't have the equipment to do that. Maybe they expect you to do video, or maybe you can highlight the things that you don't have the budget for. Like if they want you to pay for a music video, or they want you to pay for outfits for them for a photo shoot. I had a friend who was signed to a label in the 90s, and they got like thousands of dollars worth of like fancy clothes and shoes, like goofy stuff to wear to photo shoots. And man, you want to highlight that right away, just in case an artist has those expectations. These are things that you just can't do. And the final things are, you should outline, and this is a positive spin, things you hope to do. So you could say, listen, I can't help you with touring. I can't help you with video or recording, because that's just not my area of expertise. But I can help you with getting your music on Spotify. Or I have connections. I used to be a publicist, so I have connections with blogs and curators, and so I can do this. Or I'm really passionate about recording. I have a recording studio, and I have a home studio, and you can come and record demos and work on your record at my label. Or you can say, I have a printing press, like a screen printer in my basement. I can make you t-shirts. Or I know there's a label like one of the guys at the label works at a pressing plant, so you can get a discount on vinyl. So highlight all these things. These are things I can do for you, or I hope to do for you. But at the same time, in order to manage people's expectations, you should outline the things that you won't do, things you can't do, but things you hope to do. And I'm telling you, getting that all out in the open at the beginning is going to prevent a lot of stress and a lot of strain on the relationships later on. Get this and all of the tips I'm putting together to help you start a record label or get better at the one you're running at otherrecordlabels.com/checklist. Thanks for watching.